Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts About the 40K Universe. I am your host, Gershwan, and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today we continue with the horrible realities of a Chaos Space Marines as we focus in on the Khorne Berzerker. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. We post Warhammer 40K content every single day, and we do giveaways usually every month. This video is going to have a giveaway, so stay to the very end of the video to find out what you can win. But with that said, let's get into 40 facts on the horrible realities of a Khorne Berserker. In the grimdark future of the 41st millennium, a traitor marine faction stands apart from all other renegade legions. The Khorne Berserker, a chaos space marine that betrayed the Emperor and sold his soul to the god of blood, war, and murder in exchange for the promise of strength, vitality, and prowess in combat. But the horrible reality is that each Berserker must pay a terrible price for these enhancements. The sad truth is that each and every traitor was already one of the galaxy's most fierce and adept warriors before they turned to Khorne, capable of suffering wounds that would kill a lesser being several times over, free of the human compassion that would hinder their skills in combat, and mentally conditioned to be superior tacticianists in war. Every Adeptus Astartes could stand toe-to-toe with the galaxy's most gruesome and savage creatures and come out on top. This includes traitor marines blessed with Khorne's mutational gifts. The sad reality is that each renegade marine that has become or is in the process of becoming a Khorne Berserker has within them a mental flaw that obsesses over the idea that their virtue in battle is severely flawed and warrants exceptional measures to hide or fix their perceived weakness. A marine who will eventually turn to Khorne will spend an unusually large amount of time performing close combat drills outside of the daily training regime. In their eyes, their performance in these practices will never leave them satisfied, and an unhealthy desire to improve their craft will take control of their psyche. Most of the time, a marine that displays these types of routines will draw the attention of a chapter chaplain, and that chaplain will test their will and devotion to the Emperor. If found wanting, a chaplain will not hesitate to correct these flaws, whether that be by medical means with the aid of the chapter's apothecary, the mental scrutiny of a chapter librarian, or in most severe cases, death. A chaplain will not hesitate in order to protect his chapter and every battle brother under his vigil. Unfortunately, not all mental flaws such as these are found in one individual battle brother, but more often than not, these flaws are chapter-wide. This creates a tremendous strain on the will of the chapter, as each Astarte must fight their own inner demons and avoid the temptations of the god of war. The promise of glory in every battle becomes a tempting desire, and if their will breaks, especially when it's a chapter master's will, the result is an entire Space Marine chapter turning to chaos. When this occurs, not all Space Marines will agree to cast their vows to the Emperor, and those loyal in the chapter will attempt to purge their ranks of the grotesque usurpers. But sadly, many high-ranking Astartes that have already turned code will plan for this event, and spring a multitude of traps on the loyalist factions within the chapter. If the chapter's schism creates even sides, a prolonged brutal conflict may ensue. Entire Space Marine fleets may go to war against each other in a chapter civil war. Chapter homeworlds may be torn apart by the bitter struggle of these star warriors. Each disunity will play out differently, but what is certain is that no loyal Space Marine will call for aid from the Imperial Navy or the Imperial Guard. Other Astarte chapters may be called for help if the balance is tipped in the favor of the traitors, and the loyalists are too few to properly quell the uprising. But even then, a Space Marine would much rather see his fortress monastery reduced to ashes than see it in the hands of a traitor brother. Sadly, not all chapters will see a loyalist victory, and once the traitors solidify control, the Imperium will see the birth of another renegade chapter, born from the ashes of weakness and self-doubt. At first, Khorne Berserkers will bask in the glory of an unshackled future. Entire planetary sectors will feel the brutal wrath of these new, bloodthirsty marauders. Berserkers will witness untamed glory as they conquer world after world, and their bloodlust in combat will be satisfied every day as they decapitate, maim, and terrorize hive city after hive city, indifferent of the targets that lie before them, whether it be Xenos, human, or mutant. The Khorne Berserker is a nightmare to any that crosses his path. Any damage dealt to these bloodthirsty demigods will only increase their rage and their potential to inflict gruesome affliction. The horrible reality about facing a Khorne Berserker is that he enjoys causing as much pain as he does collecting skulls. Like vampire bats of ancient Terra, the Berserker zeroes in on vital arteries and slices deep into his victims to unleash fountains of blood. Limbs are strategically severed, and his victims are purposefully left to bleed out. Necks are twisted and pulled with the right amount of force to strip out entire spinal columns in an artful display of butchery. Once in the path of a Khorne Berserker, no one is safe. Children will be crushed underneath the immense power and size of a Chaos Space Marine stomp. Infants will be stolen from their mothers' hands and tossed like rags. The weeping mothers will be split in half as the Berserker marches through them, each half of their mutilated bodies hitting the ground at the same time. The poor souls that manage to hide or escape the bloody carnage will return to witness grotesque harvestings of skulls, as the traitor Marines collect skulls for the Skull Throne. The dismembered bodies of the slain will be gathered together, and giant effigies of Khorne will be erected, made out of the victims' carcasses. Streets, alleyways, and even rivers will run red with the blood of the slain. Upon the first raid is when a Khorne Berserker will discover this new thirst for blood. Unfamiliar with desires other than selfish victory in battle, the traitor will not question it at first, even when it clouds his judgment, and so will indulge in the slaughter. But soon he comes to realize that this is no mere impulse, but a compulsion that will drive him mad. The Berserker's mind becomes infested with thoughts of slaughter. Every second not spent spilling blood will drive him crazy. His superhuman biology will fight itself as he meanders mindlessly in between war zones. A loud buzzing will haunt his thoughts every second he is not in battle. These manic attacks will never fully go away. Only when in melee combat with a formidable foe will the Khorne Berserker have a small sense of peace, but to find an enemy worthy enough to challenge him will prove almost impossible. With few foes dangerous enough to pose a threat to a Khorne-powered renegade Astartes, the Berserker will be forced to reach new levels of massacre. The poor Imperial planets, besieged by Khorne warbands, will see displays of carnage that will make it seem that hell has materialized on their world. Chain axes will rip through flesh and bone as the Berserker charges into fleeing Imperial citizenry. The streets will be paved with chunks of brain matter, entrails, and of course blood. But a killing spree like this will only serve to anger a Berserker, as no real threat can give him the sense of victory he desires. Where once this anger was channeled towards his inadequacies in combat, the renegade Marine will no longer be able to blame this rage on his own misdoings, and instead channel that fury onto the helpless enemies before him. In a cycle of madness, the Khorne Berserker fights to satisfy his anger, only to be further enraged at the frailty of his fight. Berserkers will turn on each other in order to satisfy their lust for glory in a good fight. Like the lowly greenskins, who squabble amongst each other, it becomes common for Berserkers to get wrapped up in their rage and attempt to slaughter their brothers. Only with the guidance of a willfully strong leader can a Khorne warband be directed properly. But what this demonstrates is the horrible reality that a once proud and stoic superhuman warrior has now been reduced to a savage, barbaric creature. Even when it comes to executing battle plans, a Khorne warband has no tactics. Their savage minds rely on sheer ferocity and melee combat prowess to keep them alive long enough to reach their foes and tear them apart. When en route to war zones and when under the leadership of a commander, the Khorne Berserker is treated like an animal. They are separated as to not kill each other or other members of the army, and must be given fresh meat to satisfy their thirst for bloodshed. Butchering prisoners is often not enough, and Berserkers will make their way towards the ranks of the Chaos Cultists to fulfill their bloodlust. Enraged that they must share a ship with these weak humans, a warband can easily murder tens of thousands of cultists before reaching a war zone, while the majority of the planet sieged by a Khorne warband will be filled with fragile planetary defense forces and weak Astra Militarum troops. At some point, the warband will encounter their former brothers, the Adeptus Astartes. The proud loyal angels of death will look on to their former brothers and see the bastardized form of a once superhuman warrior. For many of these Khornate warbands, a life of service to the god of blood and murder was a choice not made by them, but forced onto them by their ancient father, Angron. It is known by many Space Marine chapters that the majority of Khorne Berzerkers are the remnants of the once powerful World Eater's Legion. Less known is the true story of the Legion and the horrible reality that Angron ordered his apothecarion to insert the device known as the Butcher's Nails implants within every Astarte of the World Eater's Legion to enhance aggression and pain tolerance far beyond that which even the gene-engineered flesh of a member of a Space Marine Legion was capable. These Astartes were subjected to a constant state of hyperaggression, even before they turned to the Chaos God of Murder. The father that they trusted to protect and guide them during the Great Crusade ended up damning the entire Legion and sent them down a course of slavery and condemnation. And those were 40 facts on the horrible realities of a Khorne Berserker. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, share it with your friends. It really helps out the channel when you do so. When I actually sat down to write this script, I wanted to get inspiration from, well, first I looked at a Khorne Berserker and I realized that they are just giant balls of rage. So I figured a good place to draw inspiration from is if there's any like anger issue type of situation. So I went on Google and I searched like anger issues, but I couldn't really find anything. I found a lot of anger management, but like when humans deal with anger management, it's not the same as a superhuman dealing with anger management or anger issues. So I really didn't get anything from that. What I did, or the place that I did get a lot of good information was when I looked up the disorder or the mental disorder of body dysmorphia. So it's basically what most or what bodybuilders have, like those few bodybuilders who like never seem to be satisfied with the way their body looks and they always want to get bigger and bigger. A lot of the first part of this script is inspired by that idea that these Chaos Space Marines feel inadequate, not in their bodies, but inadequate in their sense of close combat. So they have to go to the extreme where like a bodybuilder would take steroids. The Khorne Berserker will turn to the Chaos God. And then of course, the rest is just like fluffiness and the horrible realities of what a Khorne Berserker actually does on the battlefield. Because they are all about carnage and destruction, to the point where like they'll run up to somebody, won't even fully kill them, they'll just kind of like hurt them, you know, pretty bad, and then just keep charging forward. So just leaving a trail of broken bodies and severed heads. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Now, it is time for our subscriber appreciation giveaway. A while back, I went to Poland, and in Poland, I noticed that a lot of the prices for GW products were extremely low, so I took advantage and I bought a starter collection for the Khorne Bloodhound. It's an Age of Sigmar kit, but what I wanted to do was convert it to create not a Khorne Chaos army, but a just renegade Chaos army, and I was going to convert a lot of the things in this box set. So the box set comes with a Slaughter Priest, 10 Blood Warriors, and 3 Mighty Skull Crushers. The Skull Crushers I was really excited to build and convert. But the reality is that I don't have time for that. And now that the Orc Codex is coming out and the new Orc products are coming out, I'm going to dedicate my time on my Orcs. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give away this box set. If you want to collect Age of Sigmar, it's the perfect opportunity to create a Khorne army. If you want to do conversions, perfect for that. That's what I wanted to do. Eventually, I am going to do a Chaos Warband based on this starter set, or based on like the Age of Sigmar models, because I like the Age of Sigmar Khorne models better than the actual Chaos Space Marine or the Warhammer 40K Khorne models. But I can't right now, so I'm giving this away. In order for you to win this, all you have to do is like, comment, subscribe to the channel because this is a subscriber appreciation giveaway, and share this with your friends on Facebook, Twitter, whatever social media you guys use. By doing that, it helps the channel, and you get a chance to win. Now, you can actually comment down in the comment section below as many times as you want. The winner will be chosen from the comment section, so the more comments that you have down there, the more chances for you to win. Now, that doesn't mean you should spam the comment section, because if you do, YouTube is just going to block you, and you'll be banned from posting on our channel. It might even be YouTube in general. So what I would recommend is commenting like 2 or 3 times a day, and then that increases your chances of winning. Now, you're gonna see that it's just the sprue. I had to do that because bringing the entire box from Poland to the States, it just took up too much space. So I threw away the box, and it's just the sprues. It's gonna make it easier for shipping, but yeah, it will just be the sprues, no box. And again, this is a subscriber appreciation giveaway. Don't forget, we have another giveaway going on right now. If you search for our narrative battle report, we are giving away a starter set for the Kill Team. The Kill Team starter set with the Scutari and the Gene Stealer cults. So we're doing a couple giveaways this week. Good luck to you if you want to participate, and thanks for everything, guys. The reason that we can post these videos is because of you and our patrons. We do have a Patreon. It's a simple $1 a month, and it helps us create more videos for you guys. If you want to support us, jump on over to Patreon. If not, liking, commenting, participating in these giveaways, it really helps out the channel. But with that said, guys, I will talk to you tomorrow. This was Gershwin with One Mind Syndicate signing out.
Always used to put my freedom first.